We'd like to welcome you here tonight to our Reclaim the Night. Our launch is a bit different to what it normally is. So welcome to 2020. Tonight I'd like to introduce you to our MC. And our MC tonight is Miss Danielle Wheeler. Danielle Wheeler has been a long time advocate and supporter of women and also a supporter of the Women's Cottage. So Danielle, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are meeting tonight on the land of the Burrabawongal people of the Darug Nation and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Wherever we are in Australia, we are on stolen land. This land was never ceded. It was, is and always will be Aboriginal land. Thank you for coming and thank you for those joining us online. This is a rather surreal experience, I have to say, under the rotunda. I feel a bit like I'm a newsreader and probably a really bad one. So we'll just see how we go. I want to thank the Women's Cottage for organising this event and adapting so rapidly to COVID. We know that you've been smashed during the pandemic and we know that your work is more important than ever. So thank you for adapting to the changed circumstances that tonight demands. I'm going to have to put the specs on, I'm afraid, because I can't read my own writing. The Women's Cottage has, since its inception, created a safe space for women in the Hawkesbury, and that's no more important now than it ever has been. I have some apologies from some of our councillors Garrow, Reynolds and Rasmussen, and in particular the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Mary Lyons Bucket, who isn't present physically at this event for the first time in years due to COVID restrictions. So she sends her apologies, and I hope she's watching from home. Reclaim the Night started in the 1970s in Europe and the USA, and had its first march in Sydney in 1978. I want to acknowledge here Councillor Christine Payne, who long pushed for a local event, and the event in Richmond where we normally have a march down the street stating our claims for safety in our own towns, which is the right that everyone should be able to expect. The purpose of Reclaim the Night is to raise awareness of the rights of all people to feel safe in their community. Women, whatever their sexual orientation, social status, age, occupation, ethnicity or religion, whatever we wear, whatever we say, whatever we do, we deserve the right to be safe at work, walking down the street or in our own homes. Since the 1970s we've made lots of gains. We've got a lot to thank the staunch feminists who came before us for, but we've also got a long way to go. The Hawkesbury continues to record between 230 and 285 domestic violence related assaults annually. Every year we see between 45 and 73 sexual assaults, 58 to 83 indecent assaults or acts of indecency, and more than 200 incidents of intimidation or stalking. Apart from fraud and transport regulation offences, our highest crime stats relate to domestic violence and abuse, usually of women. And these are the crimes reported to the police and likely to result in conviction. And we know that this is just the tip of the iceberg, that most crimes of this nature go unreported. We urgently need to change our culture, and that's what Reclaim the Night is about. Education and public events that promote safety and fair treatment, cultural change in the community, and organisations that include all levels of government. And we also need a change to resourcing. The Women's Cottage is an extraordinary facility by women, for women, and with the bare minimum of resources. We need better funding for frontline services, courts, legal aid, refuges and victim survivor supports. COVID-19 has shown us that women still bear the brunt in the bad times, with services reporting dramatic and devastating increases in domestic violence. Stay safe at home isn't a reality for some women. We also need legislative change. Hawkesbury Council will next month take to the annual local government conference a motion calling on the state government to criminalise coercive control. Coercive control is a sustained pattern of abusive behaviour perpetrated in domestic relationships. Abusers use a wide range of controlling techniques, including emotional abuse, isolation, sexual coercion, financial abuse, cyber stalking, and that in order to strip victims of their autonomy and self-worth. Coercive control is a precursor to 99% of domestic violence homicides, and it currently isn't against the law. I'm proud to be working in the space to attempt to criminalise that in New South Wales. This week, the Parliament voted to begin a multi-party committee inquiry into criminalising coercive control. The experience in Scotland shows that legislation isn't enough, though. We need to train and resource the justice, police and education systems so that people understand and can identify coercive control, and dramatically increase frontline services like with the Women's Cottage so that we can ensure that all women and their children are safe. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to give particular thanks to any men who are watching from home. We haven't got any here with us tonight. Domestic violence isn't a women's problem. Domestic violence is a society problem, and it's only as a whole society that we can make sure that all women are safe on the streets and in their homes. This event's about solidarity, and I thank you for yours this evening and your ongoing commitment to the women in our community and our shared future. So thank you for having me, thank you for coming, and I'm now going to hand over to Marie McDermott to speak on behalf of Susan Templeman.
Hello everyone that's come and is here with us tonight, but also those who are watching us via video. It is a different year and it is a different experience, but the message is still the same. So my name's Marie McDermott, but I'm here for the Federal Member of Parliament from Macquarie, Susan Templeman, who can't be here tonight because she's actually in Canberra in the Parliament. So I've got a short speech from Susan, but I'll just start by saying I too acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. So all of us gathered here are following in an important tradition of women coming together to reclaim the night. It is a global protest for women's right to be free from sexual violence and abuse. The first Reclaim the Night march was held in Belgium in March 1976 by the women attending the International Tribunal on Crimes Against Women. They marched together, holding candles to protest the ways in which violence permeates the lives of women worldwide. Australia's first Reclaim the Night march took place in 1978 in Sydney, 42 years ago. We feel, as our sisters felt then, that all women should feel safe to go where they want, when they want, wearing what they want, without the fear of sexual harassment or violence. Women, young and old, should not have to pretend to talk on the phone, carry their keys to use as a weapon, or cross to the other side of the road. We know here tonight, as they knew then, that women going out is not the problem. It's actually men attacking women that is the problem. That's what needs to change. The attitude and the behaviour of men and our boys, and I want to continue to support those efforts. Finally, I say to the survivors, the services and the supporters, thank you for being here to add your voice to our call for an end to violence against women. So that's from Susan, but I just want to add a couple of little things. Like at the end of tonight, we're actually going to remember women who have been murdered. And there's one whose name I want to put out there because she's my woman. She's a Women's Cottage woman, she's the Hawkesbury woman, and her name was Gabrielle Sunny. She was murdered when I was working at the Women's Cottage 20 plus years ago. Nothing could keep her safe. And so every week I hear where a woman's been murdered, Gabrielle comes up into my line of sight, and I see her. I see the fear in her eyes. I see her mother. I see her sisters at the funeral, and I see her daughter. And I will never forget Gabrielle Sunny. I carry her with me in my heart and in my head for the rest of my days. She was our woman. So, thank you very much. I think we're now going to have some lovely music.
We are. Don't go away because you've got the microphone. So we have to stand together. So we're now going to hear from Wild Honey, some fabulous local women who are going to entertain us for 15 minutes. And they're looking very surprised, which I think means that they didn't think they were quite on now. So we'll just wait while they get in place.
I am the happiest girl in the world. Don't take my crown from me, 'cause I'm exactly what I wanna be. Don't take my dress from me, 'cause I wanna be pretty today. I take one step at a time. I don't right how what might be. Well, I just wait till I see it coming. next song is called Wild in Me. Never giving up. Ooh, that's really good. Peel back the layers of me. Let my soul fly free. Reason away the wind down from the hills. I found the courage to fly. I found the wings inside. Oh, please don't try to make me stay the same. Only way I can survive is just to close my eyes and let the wind carry me far, far away. I will preserve the wild in me, wild as the wind and calm as the sea, sweet as plums, strong as a tree. I will remember, never surrender the wild in me. Have you ever loved someone so much, couldn't live without their touch, but you know to stay is the worst thing you could do? Funny once you get these highs, how clearly you see the lies. Ooh, you've been telling yourself for years and years. Hell, I just ain't feared me. Well, I ain't flying free. Reliving their past years just keeping me down. I must preserve the wild in me, wild as the wind and calm as the sea, sweet as plums, strong as a tree. I will remember, never surrender the wild in me. I will remember, never surrender the wild in me.
Wild Honey, Robin, Danielle and Joe. And we're going to hear from Wild Honey again after this next segment. So I'm now going to introduce Maria Losado. Many of you are well acquainted with Maria, the manager of the Women's Cottage, who's now going to carry out the vigil.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Danielle, and thank you to Wild Honey. And welcome to everyone who's here and everyone who's watching online. Before I start with the sombre job of reading you each name of each woman who's died in Australia this last year, I would like to also acknowledge that we're standing on Darug land and pay my respects to elders past and present. I'd also like to follow on from what Marie McDermott was saying and to let you know that Gabrielle's memory lives on at the Women's Cottage. We actually have a fund that people have been contributing to for many years, and the money from that fund goes to support women who've been in who are currently in domestic violence, and particularly women who don't fit into any other eligible ways of getting help. So Gabrielle does live on with us at the Women's Cottage. I'm going to be reading out the names of women who have died by men's violence in the last 12 months. The information comes from the Counting Dead Women in Australia program as part of Destroy the Joint. So if you would like to know more about that, you can find them online. The first woman on the register of dead women this year is Kimberly McRae. Her age is not known, but she was from South Australia. Christine Neelian, 39, was also from New South Wales. Rukia Hadari was 20, and she was from Western Australia. Maud Stenbeck was 61, and she was from Victoria. Another woman whose name is not known, she was 42 years old and she was from New South Wales. She's the fifth woman on the list of women killed by violence. Nolene Dalzell was 49 and she was from Victoria. Alexis Parks was 50 and she was from Queensland. Hannah Clark, 31, and her 3 children, 3, 4 and 6, were from Queensland. Another woman whose name we don't know, she was 49 years old and she was also from Queensland. Anne-Marie Smith, 54, was from South Australia. Marie Collins, 67, was from Western Australia. Kim Murphy, 35, was from South Australia. And Leslie Taylor, 64, from Western Australia. Jacqueline Sturgis, 45, was from Queensland. Ella Price, 26, was from Victoria. Erlinda Songkyun, 69, was from New South Wales. Brittany Watson, 18, was from Western Australia. Another woman whose name we do not know was 65 and she was from Victoria. Again, another woman whose name we do not know, she was 44 and she was from Western Australia. Loris Puglia was 59 from Queensland. Kamaljit Didhu, 27, was from New South Wales. Karen Leake, 69, was from Victoria. Ruth Matafa, 22, was from New South Wales. Gabriella Delaney, was 20, and she was from New South Wales. Another woman, whose name we do not know, was 76, and she was from Queensland. Emerald Wardle, 18, was from New South Wales. Karen Gilliand, 42, was from Queensland. Leah Quinn Pan, 19, was from New South Wales. Rosalind Staggard, 67, was from Western Australia. Elaine Padalovsky, 44, was from Victoria. Najma Carroll, 33, was from New South Wales. Diane Pellegrini, 32, was also from New South Wales. Another woman, we don't know her name and we don't know her age. She died in Victoria. Again, another woman whose name we do not know. She was in her 60s. She died in Western Australia. Aisha Batty, 31, died in Queensland. Chelsea Island, 19, died in South Australia. Another woman whose name we do not know, she was 60 years old and she died in New South Wales. Kate Bell, 31, died in Victoria. Sabah Hafiz, 23, died in New South Wales. And just 2 days ago, after we started compiling that list, Linda Greenwood, 39, also died in New South Wales. We know, sadly, that these will not, the names of women killed by violence will not end with this list, but tonight we remember them, we pay respects, and we are encouraged to double our efforts to support all women who are currently experiencing domestic violence. And I can certainly say that at the Women's Cottage, since COVID, we've had a massive increase in domestic violence of women coming in seeking support, and we expect that to continue to rise. So if anybody out there is also suffering domestic violence or needs some help, we would really encourage you to come along. We're at 22 Bosworth Street in Richmond, or you can give us a call on 02 4578 4190. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Maria, and thank you for what you and your staff do. Thank you all for coming and supporting women in the Hawkesbury and beyond for this event and throughout the year. 40 women so far this year that we know of who have died due to domestic violence. That's too many women, and we really, really need some change. Change starts with all of us. So thank you again. I'm going to now throw us back to Wild Honey to finish off the night. Some lovely music from some fabulous local women to keep us going. Thank you again, and thank you to Wild Honey. And also, before they take over, I also want to thank Mel, who's worked tirelessly to organise tonight under vastly changed circumstances. Thanks, Mel. You've done a fantastic job. Wild Honey, everyone, and thank you again.
Won't cease their flow. When will the wastelands come?
letting us support this really important community issue. Thanks, Amy.